But apparently, RFK Jr.'s son posted a video, and it's since been deleted, of a call between RFK Jr. and Trump after the shooting. And in the video, Trump repeats his claims about the vaccines and stuff. Like, it's a weird call, and it was posted and then deleted. And I posted it in the chat. I don't know if this is something that you'd want to put. That's why I apologize. I was on my phone.
What do you mean? It was just. Is there a clip?
There's a clip. There's a clip. I just sent it to Rob, Pat. He goes, he does not know he's being recorded, but Trump is being, a gentleman. He's being cool and he's being collective. But I don't even think RFK knew that his son was recording him. So
I can understand why he thought it was a good idea for him to show that Trump is roughly on the same page as RFK when it comes down to the issue of vaccines. But it's a gross lapse of judgment. That said, and what I can get over is assuming Trump was not on the same decision, which I'm not. I'm sure he was. Is what an absolute gentleman Trump is, even when he thinks he is not being recorded. The man was just shot a millimeter from brutal and gruesome death. And even when describing the incident, he is kind and generous to Joe Biden, who I believe had a hand in it. He has a sense of humor. This is this gentleman saying. So if you can go up.
Yeah, there's a video, PBD, I think, at the top, Rob.
All the way up. So this is from who? No, I want to show who it's from, Rob. Oh. This is from Viva. Okay, Viva. Got it. Viva Frag. So keep going lower. So I can read the whole thing. Then I just got some millionaire minutes. He has a sense of humor about the entire experience. He doesn't scream, swear, blame anybody, though he should. A true and total gentleman. I can see why the left hates him so much. Go ahead and play the clip, Rob.
Yeah, something. That was a big gun. Those are pretty tough guns, right? I agree with you, man. Something's wrong with that whole system. Yeah. And it's a doctor issue, Frank. Remember I said I want to do small doses. Small doses. When you feed a baby, Bobby, a vaccination that is like 38 different vaccines, and it looks like it's meant for a horse, not a 10-pound or 20-pound baby. It looks like you should be giving a horse this. And do you ever see the size of it, right? It's just massive. And then you see the baby all of a sudden starting to change radically. I've seen it too many times. And then you hear that it doesn't have an impact, right? But you and I talked about that a long time ago. And anyway, I would love you to do something. And I think it'll be so good for you and so big for you. And we're going to win. We're going to win. We're way ahead of the guy. And, he's interesting. He was very nice, actually. He called me. And he said, how did you choose to move to the right? So I guess that's, people say, if I was looking straight up, right? He said, I said, I was just showing a chart. I didn't have to tell him the chart was on all the people pouring into our country, right? But I just turned my head to show the chart. And something wrapped me. It felt like a giant, like the world's largest mosquito. And it was a bullet going around. What do they call that, an AR-15 or something? That was a big gun. Those are pretty tough guns, right?
Pat, yeah, and Pat, I don't know how old the son is, but I mean, wow, you can't even trust. Like, this is the second time Trump, like even at the golf course, Trump is speaking off the cuff, doesn't know he's being recorded, and look what he just said. He goes, "Yeah, Joe Biden, nice guy, called me and was asking questions and showing his humility." I don't really know how much about the vaccine because, the kid started recording a little bit later, but, that's besides the point. The fact that he's even saying that Joe Biden was cool, had a conversation, asked him why he turned, that just shows you who he is. That shows his character. I can't hear Pat.
I was saying, Tom, we can't hear you. What I was saying is, what do you think about him speaking and having it on recording while his son is recording him?
If RFK knew someone was recording that, he should have said something to Trump. Hey, I'm sitting here with my son and family. They're listening to this. I hope that's okay. I'm really glad that you're all right. And I, love to hear what's on your mind. You got to tell somebody at this level, Trump. And later I see that, and I see RFK face to face, I'd say, Bobby, what were you doing allowing your kid to record that and do that? I was calling you genuinely. I'm calling you genuinely. Your family has faced the tragedy I almost faced. I'm calling you very, very genuinely to talk about things And, having your kid record it and put it out, Bobby, come on. That would turn my trust down a little bit. I wouldn't like that at all. I'm a little concerned about that. Now, on the other hand, does Bobby know the kid is recording, or is the kid sitting there with the phone from across the room? Because you notice it doesn't move around. Bobby's on the phone like this, and the image, the video doesn't move around. So was his kid just kind of recording it from across the room? In which case, I think Bobby's got a problem with Bobby Jr. And Bobby Jr., Bobby the third, Robert the third, man, he came out against the service, and so he's been very revved up through this whole situation. You saw his quote on social media.
Tom, just two questions. How old is his son? Number one, and number two, they said it was since deleted. So how did it make it out into the public?
Was the tweet? Which son was the tweet, Vinny? Can you see it?
Binat?
Which son was the tweet? If you tell me the name of the son, he's got a 39-year-old son. He's got a 29-year-old son. He's got a 26-year-old son and a 22-year-old son.
So yeah, CPB, it doesn't say who.
Okay.
It just said his son. But then here's the thing. He published it and then deleted it. Why would you do that?
Probably because somebody in the family in the camp saw it and said, look, what are you doing? Take it down. It's distasteful. But no, I mean, look, there's a part of it where it's kind of like, I can't believe, you see how even Trump agrees with me, because, on one end, when you're RFK and you fought this fight and you are right and Trump is agreeing with you, you want the world to see that. You want the world to be like, dude, I'm telling you guys, I'm right. His whole job as a lawyer to make an argument, and you want the argument to be right. So I understand what he's doing and the motivation of what he's doing. And I think, what I learned a long time ago at 25 years old when I was an insurance agent, I saw one of the guys that was making a lot of money. He lost all his licenses. And one of the compliance officers came in and said the best thing to us. Says, anytime you're speaking from stage, assume you're being recorded. Anytime you're speaking from stage, assume you're being recorded. Trump's a professional. Trump knows anytime he's on a phone call with somebody, he has to assume he's being recorded. It doesn't matter who it is, minus a handful of people in his life. Everybody is going to want to find a way to brag to their grandkids. Look who called me. Honey, look who's calling. Oh my God, he called you? Yes, my dad got a phone call from, there's a little bit of that, but I hope this doesn't change Trump's mind of bringing RFK to investigate the entire COVID, Fauci, all those guys. I'd love to see Rand Paul and RFK team up, go up after CDC, NIH, World Health Organization. I would love if President Trump, and the one thing about President Trump right now, at this phase of his life, you go through paranoia, and then you eventually get to a point where you reach a level of, man, God has forgiven me for so many sins I've committed. Guess what, man? I got to be more forgiven, because look what God's done with Trump. He processes that by himself, and he's going to sit there and be like, look, if I've been forgiven for some of the stuff that I've done, and God's forgiven me, and others have forgiven me, and some of them have, many haven't, maybe I got to start forgiving some of the stuff as well. I think he's going through that phase right now, because 78, 79, you saw the look on his face. It was a different look on his face. The look on his face wasn't because you'd be in jail. The look on his face wasn't, all this other stuff. The look on his face was, hey, man, enjoy the ride, protect the country, be grateful. God's on your side. You got lucky and you were protected, whether it's you turning like this pure luck, or it was, God, where the other guy didn't know what he was doing fully to be able to hit you. He has to come from a place. A book was written many years ago by, who's this guy's name? It's called David and Goliath, not David versus Goliath. It was David and Goliath. Who wrote it? He always writes good books. Underdogs, Misfits, and the Art of Battling Giants. It was written by Malcolm Gladwell. Phenomenal book, David and Goliath. In this book, one of the things, that's the one right there. In this book, one of the things he talks about is, I think it's this book. He talks about what happens when people get a close call with death. and how they react to it. When you get a close call with death, you lead from a standpoint of, I'm supposed to be here for a bigger cause. I don't know what it is, but I'm here for a bigger cause. And you tend to take that responsibility, not with arrogance, but a certain level of humility, because you almost lost everything. So you got so close to it where you're like, I almost died. Then what? Who cares about net worth? Who cares about Twitter following? Who cares about valuation? And then you come here and you're like, maybe you're trying to say something to me and you give me a second chance in life. You want to give me a second chance of life? I would have never seen my grandkids anymore or my kids or had a good meal. I'm yours. What do you want me to do? The level of fear for a creator goes up, but the level of loyalty for a creator goes up, that you were protected by someone, by a spirit. And they tend to come from a different place on the way they lead, on the way they manage stuff with their own families, and the way they do business. This is no longer the same Trump. People have to realize this is not the same Trump. It's not the same Trump. It's a very different Trump when something like this happens to you in your life. And that's the part where I one of the things I'd love to see happen, I would love to see him choose RFK to lead the COVID investigation. I think if an announcement like, think about it in September or October, okay? I don't know if RFK is speaking here or not, but think about if an announcement is made, RFK drops out. He gets behind Trump. They do an event, and RFK is out there, and Trump says, this is a very good man. I understand what he went through and what they tried to, and what they did to his father and what they did to his uncle. They tried to do to me as well. And I went through it, and I'm grateful I'm here now. And I'm, witnessing what's going on. And we both love America. We may have differences, but if there's one thing I know, he fully believes in what happened with the vaccine and we're on the same page. I'm going to commission him to go and investigate XYZ. And Rand Paul comes in with that. I think that's 45 out of 50 states. I think that's like Jimmy Carter, Reagan, landslide type of a victory where a lot of people are going to be sitting there saying, I resign, I resign, I resign, I resign, I retire, I resign, I resign, I resign, because they don't want to go through it. They're like, I'm out of here. And they move to Singapore, or they move to Belize, or they move to a small little city outside of Palmdale called Neenach, where donkeys live in and zebras that no one's ever heard of before. They do weird things like that, Vinny. But
Or they go to Wuhan, Pat. I mean, I would go back to the origins. If I was Fauci, I'd be like, listen, China, I'm coming home. Come take care of me. I'll work at the lab. I don't know if it's still open or not, but I'll come back to Wuhan. Just please take care of me because I did all your dirty work. That's what I would do.
Maybe they go to Wuhan. Who knows? And that's the angle they take with that. And on top of that, this month, July 30th at 6 p.m., I'm doing a Zoom in regards to the AI revolution, which we're going to release a white paper, which we'll give to you. If you haven't yet registered for that either, here's a QR code to get registered for the event that we're going to be having. It's a private webinar. It's only limited to 3,000 people. It's not something that's going to be available to everybody. It's first come, first serve. You register, you'll be able to be a part of it. Rob, if you have that flyer to show for the AI revolution Zoom that we're hosting as well, so people can go on the QR code and get registered, that'd be great. It's that right there. Just go on that QR code, registered for it. AI is here for business. A lot of people are leveraging it to win and take their businesses to the next level. It's how we took our business to take the valuation of it 3x more than what it was. We went from 5 times EBITDA to 15 times EBITDA. We're doing this webinar this month, free, but you got to make sure you get a spot on it. Again, July 30th, Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go to the QR code to get registered.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.